Hello there, the Uneducated Businessman here. I have just been interviewed I've just been talking on the radio, and I've been talking about habits on the radio and how to form good habits that will make you successful, help to contribute towards your success. And I thought, you know what? After I've done the show, I'm going to jump on and do a video on it while it's fresh in my mind, and kind of just suddenly realised, looking at myself on the camera, it doesn't matter if you look like crap on the radio, no one can see you, but when you do a video you should make an effort. But I kind of been working all day today, and I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but I got up very early, started work, had a lot to do because I needed to squeeze it in before this radio show, and hadn't really thought about having a shower, I hadn't really thought about doing anything to the hair, having a shave or anything like that. So apologies if I look like crap. It's just the modern way, I think, working from home. Not a good habit, actually. I'm talking about habits, and getting up and not showering and starting work is not the way really to start your day. But hey ho, I'm honest, and if anything, too honest sometimes. So yeah, I don't look good, but who cares? It's life. I'm not that young and vain anymore that I really worry about it. God, if I was still in my 20s, there is absolutely no way I'd go on camera with messy hair and without trying to look perfect. But these days, when I'm a little bit older, it doesn't bother me so much because I know what's real. I've got knowledge and I've got wisdom. The great thing about getting older is it gives you wisdom, and sometimes when you've got, well, not sometimes, but when you've got the wisdom, you kind of let go of things that you thought was important to you because your reality changes. You know, when you're young, and I'm not putting down young people, but you just don't have the experience of older people. And I think when you're younger, it can be harder to learn, actually. And, you know, you guys go to school and you learn, but you're learning from older people invariably. And when you haven't got that wisdom, you tend to look at older people and think, you know, what the hell do they know? You know, they're not relevant, they're old, they're boring. But you don't understand that they've been there, they've seen it, they've done it, and they've got the wisdom, and they want to share that with you. And a shortcut to success is definitely learning from other people, which is maybe why you're watching this video. And when you can learn from older people who have got the wisdom, it can accelerate your growth because you learn at a quicker rate. You get more knowledge, you get more wisdom. And we're all going to make mistakes regardless of what we do. And we're going to all learn from our experiences. But when you can learn from other people, you can cut a lot of the crap out because they've been there and they can literally see the mistakes you're going to make. And they can guide you and they can educate you so you don't make these mistakes. And it just cuts your time down. It condenses your success into a shorter time frame because you cut all the crap out. You know, I wish when I was younger, I would have sought out people with wisdom and learned from them. But I was just like every other kid, you know. I wasn't really interested in learning from older people. I knew it all. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly where I was going. I knew exactly what I was going to do every day. Of course I didn't. I made it up as I went along. I didn't have a clue. I just did what I thought was right at the time. And I got through life, you know, luckily. You know, I didn't get arrested. Not too often anyway. I didn't get put in prison, which was a bonus. And I didn't end up seriously injuring myself, which was amazing. I don't know how I didn't with some of the stunts I used to pull. But that's youth, isn't it? That's what you do when you're younger. And I wouldn't change it. But if I could go back, I definitely would tell myself to seek the advice of older people and learn from them. Because they've made all these mistakes. And I've made so many mistakes in the past. I'm so experienced. I can see things happening now before they even happen. And the beauty of making mistakes is when you analyze them and you learn from them, you can come up with solutions to future problems even before they happen. Or when they happen, you can come up with a solution really quickly. And you can dust yourself down and move on. So The habit I want to talk about is based around that. I call it the reality habit. It's understanding your reality as a person and where you come from and where you are in the world and what your beliefs are. Because most people, and I was 100% this person, and actually when I was this person I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only one who was like this, and everyone else was super focused, everyone else was really ambitious and knew exactly what they was doing. But over time I learned that most people were actually the same as me, and I lived my life in a dream state. Excuse me. I created these realities in my mind of how I wanted to be in the future. So I had success, I had money, I had the houses, I had the cars, I had the girls, I had all of these lovely things in my mind, and I would play them out over and over and over again, telling myself one day I would have all this, and this is what my life would be like, and this is how great it would be. But what that was doing, that was ignoring the reality, that was ignoring what was actually going on in the real world. So in the real world, I wasn't progressing, I wasn't moving forward at all, because I'm living in this like dreamland state and just bubbling over in la la land. That's what I'll call it. And whilst it was nice in some ways, because I had this lovely little dream that I could fantasize about and cheer myself up with, in the real world it done me no favors whatsoever. It just stopped me learning, it stopped me gaining wisdom, it stopped me progressing, it stopped me becoming a success. And I didn't realize that it was so detrimental. And it wasn't until I learned this rule, which most people know, but most people just don't really consider it. Every action has a reaction, and there's always an opposite reaction. And you've got to look at the actions you take and think about the reactions you can get. And when you can start doing this, and when you can make this a habit, you can start improving your life. Now, let's think about that. Life and death, they're opposite. Yeah, life is the action, you spring into life when you're born, and death is the reaction, you exit life when you die. Push and pull. If I go up to someone in the street and I push them, no matter how hard I push them, there's going to be a reaction. You know, they're going to, depending on how strong they are, or how fit, or how balanced they are, or the force I use, they're going to move some way. And there's a reaction to that. So I'm pushing or pulling, and they're moving with that. Fat or thin, you know, there's different ends of the spectrum all the time. And when you learn and when you understand that everything you do in life has a reaction, and you're going to get a reaction regardless of what you got to do or what you're going to do, you can then start thinking about your actions in more detail. Put it this way, there's been times in my life where I've been a bit dishonest, where I've told the odd porcupine. I wouldn't say I'm a malicious person, or was a malicious person, or a nasty person, but we all do it. We all tell the old porcupine here and there. But when you get caught, there's always a consequence. There's always something that will come back to bite you. And when it does, with the reaction, it's not always in line with the action. So physics will tell you that every action and reaction is balanced, yeah, but it's not in real life. If I tell a little porcupine and I get caught, who's to say my punishment is going to be in line with that lie? It could be far greater. It could really escalate. It could affect me moving forward in a really big way. Let's say I lied on a job application and I didn't get that job, and it was known that I was a liar and I could never apply to that company again, and I kept getting knocked back every time I applied to them. The reaction there is far greater. And where I'm going with this is, when you understand that and you can look at what actions you take in life and you can eliminate the ones that are going to give you the bad reactions, you can start moving forward. The more good you do, the more good you get back. The more bad you do. Is that a sentence? The more bad you do? I'm not sure, but I'm going to say anyway. The more bad you do, the more bad things that will happen to you in life, because everything has a reaction. Yeah. So to form the reality habit, and the reality habit is the foundation of all habits, that all habits should come from. Because once you know where you are in life, and once you know what you stand for, once you know what is right and wrong, and once you know that every action you do in life is going to have a reaction, you can start making better plans. You can start making better choices. You can start making better decisions. And here's something you got to think about, and I want you to think about as well. There's going to be things that come along to distract you all the time. There's going to be things that come along to take you away from your good choices, to lead you down a path of bad choices. And many people will fall for that and go down that route because it's easier. Making good choices that may not give you an instant gratification and may not give you that reward you want straight away, and may not be obvious to what you're going to get. It's hard, and it's really difficult to keep doing that, especially when you don't see instant success. But sometimes with the bad decisions, you get that instant hit, you get that instant happiness, you get that instant high. It's probably why drugs are I wouldn't say popular, but are used, I would say. I've never used them, so I don't know. But you know, it's a bad habit, but it will give you that instant high. You see what I'm saying? And people will go down that route to get that instant hit. You know, and you've got to be careful. And this is why, when you know your reality, you can be really careful, because especially in today's world, there's so much messaging out there, so much information out there. You need to be able to learn how to filter it out and work out what's good for you. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're fat. Let's say you're unhealthy. Let's say you really want to lose weight, but you can't. And let's say you watch a lot of TV. And on the TV, there's lots of adverts. And because you're watching a lot of TV, you're seeing a lot of adverts. And you see a lot of adverts for fast food places that sell hamburgers. We all know the type of places I'm talking about. When you look at these adverts are going to be full of predominantly young people, good-looking people, happy, smiley people, having a great life, having a great time, having lots of fun, eating burgers, chips and milkshakes. Yeah? And you're going to look at that. That advert is designed to tempt you. It's designed to make you feel that you want that burger. And you don't necessarily want it. You don't even need it. Understanding the difference between needs and wants is very important, because what you need is obviously really quite important. You know, if you need something, you need it. If you just want a burger because you've seen an advert and you want the taste of that lifestyle, that's not going to lead you down a path of weight loss. That's going to lead you into temptation. But if you haven't taken time to check your reality, and you've questioned things, and you've asked, why are they advertising it to me like that? Why are they telling me to do it like this? Why are they pushing me down that road when I know really in my mind eating burgers and chips isn't good for me? And you start to question their motives, then you become wise. And then you become wise to how the world works. And when you become wise to how the world works, and you can see what they're doing, and you can see these messages that are playing no good in your life whatsoever, you can ignore them. And then you can work on creating new messages that are beneficial to you. And then you can look at the actions you're going to take. And then you can look at the reactions that you're going to get. And then you can work out a plan. So then you can think, okay, well, if I take an action of not having that burger, is the reaction going to be positive or negative? Well, it's going to be positive, isn't it? Okay, so I'm not going to do that. What's my next action? What am I going to replace that with? Okay, we're going to replace it with a salad. What's the reaction of that? Is that going to be beneficial to me or not? Yes, it's going to be beneficial. So I'll do that instead. What's the reality of this salad making me lose a stone by tomorrow? It's not, is it? So, okay, I can plan forward now, because I know that reaction is going to take time, and it's going to take a period of self-discipline. But if I put that in place and I ignore that message and I don't have that burger and I continue eating healthily, I'm going to get to where I want to be, because I need to lose weight, because I need to be healthy for my family. I need to be healthy for myself. I hope that makes sense. I hope I've explained that well, and I hope it gives you a little bit of an insight into questions you need to ask to form this reality habit. And it really is just a case of, where are you in your life? What's real to you at the moment? What dreams have you got? I mean, don't take it that I'm saying don't dream. Have your dreams, but are your dreams taking over your reality? Are you living in a world that's fantasyful? I think that's a word. Or are you living in the real world? You want to be living in the real world. Yes, you want to have a dream of maybe where you want to go and what you want to achieve. That's great. But you need to be in the real world to get that dream. You need to take the right actions to attract the right outcomes to get that dream. And you need to take more and more and more action every day. And if you're not living in the real world, you're not going to get there. And if you're being guided by outside sources that may not be beneficial to you, and you're making decisions that are going to give you negative reactions, you're not going to get there. You see? And if you can work out the reality and you can execute, and you can keep making better and better and better choices over a long period of time, all of the what's coming back to you is going to be positive. The more good you do for yourself, the more good you will get back. The more good you do for other people, the more good you will get back. The more problems you have in your life, the more problems you're going to get back, and you eradicate these problems by making good choices. And you eradicate problems and you get rid of problems, because the problems are always going to come. Don't get me wrong, no matter how good you are at this, you're always going to get problems. But if you take time to analyze that problem, learn from that problem, and come up with a solution for that problem, when it comes up again, boom, you've got an instant answer to that problem. You can solve it. You don't need to dwell on it. It doesn't stick. It just goes because you deal with it. And that's a really good foundation. Well, it's the best foundation to start building habits on. Just understanding your reality, making better choices, continuing to make better choices, and have the self-discipline to keep going. Because it's not easy. I wish it was easy, but it's not. It's really hard. And you will find, if you study successful people, they will all have one thing in common. They'll all have really good habits that they do on a regular basis. They'll all have a routine that they do every day, and they get things done that are beneficial to them. And after a while of creating these habits, it just becomes second nature. It's really hard at the start, but once you get over a period of time and you keep doing it, then it becomes second nature and you always do it. And then life becomes a lot easier. Now, it's not the only habit that you need to have to create a great life, a life full of happiness, love and wealth and all the good things that you want, but it's the start, it's the foundation. And I'll talk a little bit more on habits, because I kind of like it. It's a nice topic, and I think it's really beneficial, and I think people can really, you can learn as much as you want, but if you don't have the habit to execute what you've learned, it's just knowledge. Knowledge without execution is just knowledge. It's not going to get you anywhere. You need to have the habits, you need to have the discipline. And I think in the next one I'll talk about attitude, and how your attitude and beliefs can help you form another habit that you can lay on top of this foundation, your reality foundation, and move yourself forward for the future. So I hope that was interesting. I hope it was helpful. It's a little bit different to normal, but as I said, I was just talking about it on the radio. It's kind of fresh in my mind, and I thought I would jump on. And I'm going to go now, have a shower, and enjoy my evening. I'm the Uneducated Businessman. Over and out.